Good morning all of you. Welcome back to the TMPS classes. This is the online initiative which is being taken by TMPS family. So if you like this video, please subscribe this channel and press a bell icon as well as hit a like button for that. Come on, let's get started with this video. When we are starting this video, we'll be discussing basically in this video about economics. This basic video is for class 10 economics and commerce students. Now we'll be starting with the topic from where we have left in the previous video. In the previous video we have discussed about the land. We have talked about sell. Sell means capital, entrepreneur, land and labor. The factors of production I have told you. Now we'll be discussing about in this video about the topic of labor. What do you understand by the term labor? Labor is basically a person who puts its effort and changes the raw material into finished product. So now when you talk about labor in general sense, each and everybody says a labor is basically a person who is working outside for some wages, some salary. But in exact sense, a labor is a person XYZ, every person who is doing some economic activity. You can also say that everyone who is doing some economic activity for the satisfaction of his or her want, he is known as labor. Even in a theory, entrepreneur, who is basically investing money, he is also being considered as a specialized labor in certain cases. We'll be discussing it one by one in this video. So I hope you'll be liking this video. Let us start. Now, what is labor? Labor is all those active workforce which is there in a country which is engaged in some economic activity which can be for production, exchange or manufacturing of goods and services. It can be in the field of business, trade and commerce or any other thing which is creating some utility. Now, what is production? Production is basically changing of raw material into finished goods. What role a labor does? A labor basically is a person who changes the raw material into some finished or semi-finished products which are useful to a particular person. Suppose if we talk about this t-shirt, if it would be a piece of cloth, nobody needs that. When it is needed by a person who will stitch it, and then it is needed by the consumers because they directly wear it. We cannot just buy and every time stitch it by ourselves and then wear it because we do not know that skill. So labor is a specialized person who is specialized in his work and changes the raw material into finished products or semi-finished products. Now we'll be continuing. We'll be talking about this topic one by one with the help of questions. Explain some of the important features of labor. So first, labor is an active factor of production. What does it mean? Labor is an active factor of production. Just remember, I've told you that land was a passive factor of production. Correct? You remembered I've told you that land was a passive factor of production because land cannot produce anything by itself. Land has to be worked upon and then it can be producing something. But labor is an active factor of production which produces things by itself, by its skill, by its labor, by its work, and that is why labor is an active factor of production. Next, a very important topic, that labor is basically perishable in nature. Very important, it can be asked for 2 marks question also. Labor is perishable in nature. Why? Because the labor's utility decreases with time. Because just remember, when you have a government office, you know that there is a retirement age, basically it is 60 years. Why it is 60 years? Because it is being felt because after a particular period of time, the labor's quality and the work ability goes on decreasing because the age limit is there. In many times it is being seen labor increases its productivity with experience. It is correct. But in longer duration of time, when we talk about age, then labor is perishable in nature because the labor productivity goes on decreasing with the age. Next basic point, Third, labor is a person which can be trained. Labor can be trained because labor's efficiency can be increased by imparting proper education, proper training, and then the labor's productivity can be increased. Next, a very important point, that labor sells its labor, not himself. A very important thing. A labor, when he is working somewhere at some place, he or she is not selling herself or himself. They are selling their utility, they are selling their work, they are selling their approach, they are selling their growth, they are selling their knowledge. They are not selling their themselves only or their body. They are just selling their labor, their skill, their knowledge. I hope these points are clear to you. Next, what is the other question that arises? Explain the different categories of labor. Just now we were talking that labor is basically of three different categories. Basically, labor are three different categories. अभी हमने आपसे बताया कि that labor is all those person which is engaged in economic activity, correct? So labor is classified into three parts. Basically, labor is classified into three parts. One is skilled, semi-skilled, and third is unskilled. We'll be starting with the last one, that is unskilled labor. Who is an unskilled labor? Unskilled labor is a person who is working under some supervisor, under some supervision. He or she does not have any technical knowledge. They basically work with a physical attitude and physical aptitude. What happened? That they are working only physically. They do not apply any mental work. They only do their physical work because they do not have any formal training or work experience, or they do not have any proper education of that job. So in that case, they are doing only physical work. They are paid low wages. They are paid less. That is why they are unskilled labor. In India, a great force is unskilled labor because we have lack of training, education in our country. Next is semi-skilled labor. Semi-skilled labor are all those laborers which do not have proper training and education. They have some training and education, but not proper training and education. They have a little bit training and education. They do not have a proper training and education. That is why they are semi-skilled. They are known as semi-skilled. They are usually paid salaries and sometimes they are paid wages also. Next, third is the skilled laborers. Here you can contribute that all those people which are working in government offices, although they are officers, they are managers, but they are all laborers. Do not consider when I say your father is also a laborer. You should not think, oh my father is not a laborer, he is a manager. आप कैसे कह सकते हैं वो लेबर है? अरे मेरे फादर तो मैनेजर है. अरे भाई मैनेजर तो हैं, but he comes under a category which is labor, but he is a skilled labor who is highly paid. A skilled labor in India has a great negotiating power. You know that skilled labor in India is very less, and that is why the skilled laborers are paid highly, and these skilled laborers are doing mental work. They do minimum of physical work, they do maximum mental work, and they are paid more for that. They have high negotiating power because they are very skilled in their work. They have very good education, they have very good training in their work. I hope these three topics are clear to you. Now next I will be coming to next topic, that is explain that what is division of labor. What do you understand by the term division of labor? Now what happens? The categories of labor is being clear to you. Now we will be talking about what is division of labor. Basically what happens, the division of labor means that labors are divided according to the job profile, correct? जॉब प्रोफाइल मतलब जहां पे जैसी जरूरत होती है उसी तरह से लेबर को डिवाइड किया जाता है. तो बेसिकली दो तरह के डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर होते हैं. एक होता है सिंपल डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर, दैट इज ऑल्सो नोन एज प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर. फिर से समझ लीजिए, वन इज simple division of labor, which is also known as product based division of labor. Next क्या होता है? Next is basically the complex division of labor, which is also known as the process based division of labor. Many of you must have understood that process based division of labor. Now let me explain this. Simple division of labor means when the laborers are basically unskilled or semi-skilled, where they are being trained to produce the thing from the starting till the end. These products are generally of low quality and day-to-day use. These are not very technical or complex structured goods. These are simple goods such as bakery items. You know, in the bakery a person is basically knowing how to knead the wheat, then how to bake a bread and then sell it, cut it and sell it. So one person can do all the process which is involved in that product. So what happened, the person is involved in making full product, and it is very easy to apply these type of labors because minimum of training is required in that. That is known as simple division of labor or product based division of labor, where a person is basically employed for doing a full work which is needed to produce a product, and there is no other person or group of person are basically employed in that, and they do not have any technical knowledge. They are basically unskilled or semi-skilled. I hope this is clear. Now let us move on. Now we'll be discussing about complex division of labor or process based. You know that two categories are over, now third is only there. Yes. Now the complex division of labor or process based division of labor is basically in the case of skilled labor. What happens when the labor is basically trained properly, when they have proper knowledge, proper training. So when the products which are being produced are technically very important, they have technically various things which have to be compiled together, such as a computer, a car, an automobile. So what happens in that, there are different stages and every person is master of their own stage. Suppose we cannot say that a motor vehicle can be made by only one person. He or she is not a mechanic. A mechanic can do what? He can repair the things. But when you have to manufacture it properly, the designing of that product has to be done. Then it was to be designed by a designer. Next, then a software engineer would be there for making the whole software which would work in that car or automobile. Next, what would happen? They'll be designing the whole graphics. Then there would be engine designing. Then there would be basically testing of tires, wheels. So every person is specialized in their own work, and the product is being divided according to process. That is a complex division of labor where a person is assigned their job and they have to complete only their own set of job, and they do not have to do other jobs. And they are specialized people which are being appointed for different work. I hope this much is clear. Next we will be moving to next topic, that is give some advantages and some disadvantages of division of labor. What happens? Some advantages. First of all, what is advantage of division of labor? First, you will be knowing that high quality product would be made. Correct? High quality product would be made because every person would be knowing their job properly and they can work in their proper manner. Second, there would be more efficiency of work. The work would be done in an efficient manner. Wastage would be less. Third, the quality of the product would be high because the person which are being employed, they will be having the full knowledge of the work. Fourth, right man, right job. They will be having right person for right job, and there will be no duplication of work. Now, there are certain disadvantages are also there with this process. What is some disadvantages which are there in this process are monotony of work. What is monotony of work? Many times it can be seen that a particular person gets bored by doing same type of work. So they feel that when I am doing the same type of work, that is not good. That is monotony of work. That is why many times people get bored. Next, it requires lots of skill to employ a particular person for a particular job. It requires high salary package. Next, it requires high time and high cost. These are the disadvantages of division of labor. Next, when you talk about India, you many times say that there is very low efficiency of labor in India. Labor is not properly trained in India. Labor is not having efficiency in India. So what are the reasons that there is low efficiency of labor in India? First point. First question basically is also that this, why there is a low efficiency of labor in India. There is a low efficiency of labor in India. First point, that there is lack of proper training. There is lack of education facilities. Third, the people do not have a proper infrastructure. We do not have lots of industries where they can work. We do not have roads which is well connected so that the people can come from one place to another to study. So that is why we say we do not have basic facilities which are there for training. We have a joint family system. The people which are living in villages do not like to leave the whole family and work in a particular place. So that is why also there is low efficiency of labor. Next, lack of good transportation facilities. People are not connected properly, so they do not want to work and in a far place because they will not be able to reach whenever they require. So next important thing, how can this be improved? Just opposite, that what can be done? First, formal training should be increased, education quality must be increased. There should be formal training, and the education system in India should be job oriented. Here our country is having an educational system which is basically learning oriented. Only we learn, gulp all the things, we just call them rectification. So we should not be having such type of education facility. We should be having education facility which is properly having training, which is job oriented. People should be trained according to the need and job which you are doing. So that is why we should be having that type of training. There should be good salary that should be given to a particular person so that they should work in a proper manner. There should be congenial environment for working. There should be proper cleanliness. There should be proper hygiene. The temperature should be normal. You know that India is having variety of temperature. It has been said that ideal temperature for working is between 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. If it would be more than that, the people would be sweating and they will not be liking to do work. If it would be less than that, the people would be sleeping because it would become sleepy. That is why the ideal temperature for working is between 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. So that should be maintained in a particular place. There should be good transportation facilities, and the infrastructure in our country should be improved. I hope this topic is clear to you, the labor portion. This topic is an important topic as it covers your land is over and the labor is also over. Again, if you like this video, please press the like button and also subscribe the TMPS channel. Thank you.